It's been in the headlines quite a bit in the last week or so across all of New Zealand. Some Dunedin/Otago focus on the issue of AMBOs getting a little bit of slap and tickle from potential patients that they come up to help, obviously. Let's have a look at why this happens. We've been talking to Pauline Buchanan, who is the St John Southland Otago District's Operation Manager, and she says this about the situation on Q9, why these are happening. It's alcohol and drug-fueled rage. It's getting worse. I don't think it's premeditated towards St John. It's happening to everyone that's involved, but I think it's occurring more frequently. She goes on to say of the situation, quote 10 here, the majority of it would be uncontrolled alcohol and drug use. It would be more frequently in Dunedin than anywhere else. So there's 3,000 examples through the country over the last 12 months. In Otago, 160 instances of abuse during the past 9 months, of which 44 were physical assaults.
Yeah, that's incredible. And these people are just coming in to do a job and they're getting accosted. And I think that the stance that they've taken has obviously come to a head, and they've said, look, enough's enough. Even if there are people who need our assistance, urgently need it in a party situation at a private residence, and they can barely get through the front door without being, I mean, it's so like, it looks like there's been things like, people being assaulted, spat on, abused, all that sort of thing. They're just doing a job. They're there to help potentially someone who's your friend at this party, if you like, and they're going in there and having to put up with that on their way to help rescue somebody. I think that's absolutely appalling. So the stand that they have taken, saying, look, even if that person is in jeopardy in that situation, we're not putting our people at risk by going in there. I'm sorry, that's just the way it's going to be.
I do wonder what the legalities of that are. So a doctor, for example, takes a Hippocratic oath, do no harm.
Yeah.
You know? Now, these aren't doctors, they're AMBOs, and I'm assuming they don't have the same sort of oath. But if you've got someone who needs help and you have to put yourself in harm's way to help them, I wonder of the legalities of you not doing that. Because part of me thinks, let me be unequivocal about this, that it is unacceptable, obviously, to assault these people. It's an unacceptable reality. It shouldn't be happening, it shouldn't be going on. However, I also think it's to be expected. If you're a person who's going into a situation where there is drug and alcohol, there are drunk people, there are people who are uncontrolled, it's going to happen. So whilst I agree that it shouldn't be happening, I also would like to at least ask the question, where is the line? Okay, a fireman puts himself in harm's way by choice. It's part of his job, right? So do police officers. Now, I'm not saying that the AMBOs are on the same level of needing to do that, but there's surely got to be a line between taking a risk to help someone and stepping away completely and not putting yourself in any kind of harm's way.
Yeah, that's right. And I can see there at what you're raising is there is a potential grey area. Sure, if you walk into a situation and you get slugged in the face, then maybe you're in no position to carry on and treat people. That's understandable. Maybe you perceive, as you go into an incident, that it might happen. You perceive you're in harm's way, and so you don't go to aid. I do get exactly what you're saying. I think the point that they've said here, St John, is just basically, look, we're just going to have to draw a line in the sand here and leave it at the discretion of our employees.
Well, maybe that's the issue. Maybe when you talk about discretion of an individual, and this is not casting aspersions towards any AMBO, but when you leave it to their discretion, that's when grey areas happen and things can fall through the cracks. I wonder, obviously, if there is a party situation and it looks out of hand, then the AMBO should just get the police there, and the police should be the ones responsible for getting the AMBOs access. But it is a very serious situation. Peter Bradley, who is St John's chief executive, says this, quote, "My ambulance officers have had enough. We simply won't enter a dangerous scene. We will retreat, and your mate or loved one won't get the treatment they need while our personnel safety is at risk." Now, I think that he's still right. My comments and questions aren't based around me wanting to put them in harm's way. I do also wonder about the reality of it. If you're an AMBO and you see someone bleeding out, are you really just going to be able to stand there and watch it happen?
Yeah, and I think that in those sort of situations, those extreme ones, they'll ascertain what's in front of them as best they can, and I'm sure they will act accordingly. I don't think they would leave, to give your example there, to allude to it, that they would leave someone bleeding out despite what may potentially happen to them. I think they'd go in and do the right thing.